see the fear in your eyes. You saw something you can't explain.
Hey everybody, Lindsay here, and this is my review for Malum. Or Malum. Malum? Malum? Malum. I had not heard of this movie before I saw that it was playing at the local theater yesterday, and I figured, hey, I've got a little bit of free time. I'm gonna go check it out. This is a remake of writer-director Anthony DiBlasi's 2014 film Last Shift, which I have not seen, so during this review I will not be comparing it to the original at all. I'm gonna judge it on its own merits. Like I said, I hadn't heard anything about this film. I just saw that it was this horror movie playing at the theater, so I went and saw it. So I had no expectations going in, didn't know really what I was getting myself into. And I was pleasantly surprised. I like the cast. I like the setting a lot. I thought it was very, very creepy. I liked the gore, and I liked the basic storyline. And the basic storyline is, it's this rookie police officer's first shift, and she's in this abandoned station, and her father had been an officer, but something tragic had happened, and so she's trying to use this night to try and figure out what exactly happened and why it happened. Ow.
Just want to work where my father worked, even if it's for one night.
He was a hero. Till he wasn't, you know?
My overall spoiler-free thoughts are, it starts out very strong. It hooks you in right away. It's a bit of a slow burn, even though it's just over an hour and a half long. It's a slow burn, supernatural, lots of things appearing in shadows and darkness, flickering lights, empty, shadowy hallways, footsteps from things that aren't there, or are they there? That kind of stuff. If I had to, like, compare it to any other films, I'd say it's kind of like a mishmash of Assault on Precinct 13 and a touch of Rosemary's Baby, maybe, and a little sprinkling of Hereditary in there. But like I said before, I love the setting a lot. It's not like a big city or a big populous city. It is a city, but it has like a Midwestern feel to it almost. I think it's either Midwestern or maybe slightly Southern. But it has this like satanic panic kind of feel about it, because there's a cult that is operating within the city center, the area.
Your daddy started something very important. Tonight we're gonna finish it.
Jessica Sula, who played the lead, I thought was really good. I thought she did a good job. She gets bloody and has to run around and scream her head off and look scared, and she does a very good job of that. There was no one really in the cast that stuck out as being horrible or bad or not doing as well of a job as everyone else was. So the acting for me was just fine. Where this movie fell apart for me a little bit was towards the third act, beginning of the third act and through the third act. The tone kind of shifted a little silly, which I'm fine with silly in horror, but it was a little clunky in that aspect, in that shift, and it got very fuzzy as to what was going on. The images were great. The images were cool and interesting, and it was very stylish. But if I had to try to make sense of those images and really dive in to figure out what exactly was going on, I would have a little bit of a tough time. But overall, I think it was a decent movie. Like I said, it just kind of lost me a little in the third act, but there is some cool stuff in the third act, some cool visuals, some cool practical effects, which were very nice to see. But if I had to give this movie a grade as far as this kind of movie, I'd probably give it like a C+. Like, it's worth a watch, I'd say. It's got some really interesting ideas, some cool kills, some really creepy imagery at times. There's some really creepy stuff going on. But I did want to talk just a couple spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, skip to this time code. Yeah, there was a lot going on in this movie, and it was hard to keep track of where it was going, because like I said, it was a slow burn. But the whole thing with trying to figure out why her dad blew people's heads off for seemingly no reason, and it was hard to tell, like what were the powers of this group? What was their goal? What was their end goal by making her kill her mother and then kill herself? Like what ritual did that complete? Did it bring the demon into the real world? I was very confused about that. But the demon looked cool. It was practical, so that was cool. It kind of looked like a mix between Sigourney Weaver's alien baby from Alien Resurrection. Is that what it's called? The one with Winona Ryder. A mix between that and a Cenobite. And then its face, like, shoots off into hers. But there really was some creepy stuff, like when she first gets to the abandoned police station and that guy is there freaking out over a basketball. And then the seemingly homeless man, who is obviously the father of one of the girls who was kidnapped, just taking a piss on the front door. And then that whole sequence when he comes in and they're in that cell and someone picks up the flashlight and is like shining it around the room, is shining it at her. And then it pans over and you see that it's the homeless dad. So who's holding the flashlight? That was a very creepy sequence and very, very effective. The other issue I had was it was hard to pin down the time jump. It was only a year, but it seemed like it should have been further apart than that. I don't know, the sequence of events seems very, very close, because the whole cult thing and the way the cult leader was dressed and all that felt, and the video it was shot on seemed very like 90s to me. But this was obviously set in present day because there's cell phones and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, the time space, it seemed way too short, because these cult leaders hung themselves in the jail, but the story was that he like went in guns a-blazing and killed them and rescued the girls. So that was confusing for me. Why they covered that up in a different way, or how no one really knows the truth when it's only been a year later. I mean, that couldn't have been an easy thing to cover up. I don't know, it was confusing. And maybe I missed something in there, I don't know. But also, that within a year's time, I don't know. It just seems like it should be more than a year to have passed between the opening stinger and then the rest of the narrative. It should have been longer than a year. It should have been like 10 years or something. Wait. That's my thoughts on this movie. Overall, I did really enjoy it. Like I said, it has some really creepy imagery. The performances are good. It gets a little silly towards the end, but it's enjoyable. The silliness is enjoyable. So yeah, I would recommend this one. Go check it out. Malum. In theaters right now, and I don't know if it's streaming anywhere or how soon it will be. But yeah, go check it out. Well, that's going to do it for this little video. So until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.